UFC 262 takes place today. Let's see who the pros are picking for tonight's main event between Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Top 10 UFC light heavyweight Anthony Smith gives his pick for the main event on his Hooks In podcast.
Sometimes I feel like I'm like betraying my own guys sometimes when you give these predictions. Like, I feel like I should have a loyalty to like Charles Oliveira, like he's the veteran, he's the guy that's been up and down, he's probably the guy I relate to the most. But like the tape shows what the tape shows, like barring a crazy, and it's absolutely possible, but barring him getting, Chandler getting caught with something, something big on the feet, which again, totally possible. I wouldn't be shocked at all. And barring, getting hung up in some scrambling position and getting caught in a transition on the ground, I see Michael Chandler kind of controlling the range, controlling where this fight takes place. I don't see Oliveira taking Chandler down. I just don't see that happening. I'd be shocked if he tried. So I would predict Michael Chandler.
UFC Hall of Famer George St. Pierre gives his main card predictions.
Here's my pick for UFC 262. I got Michael Chandler winning by knockout in the first round. I have Tony Ferguson winning by TKO in the third round. And I have Barboza winning by unanimous decision.
UFC Hall of Famer Michael Bisping gives his breakdown of the main event on his Believe You Me podcast.
Chandler, I think he's more athletic. Chandler has the better wrestling. I think Chandler has the bigger power for sure, but Oliveira just has this style that he's going to walk him down. I think if Oliveira is going to win this fight, he can't do what Dan Hooker did and circle away. He's going to have to walk him down. And a lot of the time, the best takedown defense, and again, I don't think Chandler's really going to look for takedowns either. I don't think it's a smart move for Michael Chandler to take down the guy with the most submissions in the UFC. We've seen how aggressive Oliveira is off his back. The man throws up submissions from everywhere. Tremendous sweeps. I mean, the guy's jiu-jitsu is beautiful. It is fucking beautiful, right? So I think if he just walks Chandler down, puts him on the back foot, that's going to play to the game of Oliveira. As a wrestler, you're not really, a lot of people can't strike going backwards. They can strike going forwards. Some people can. Most people can't. They kind of wilt. When they get pressured, they go backwards. They make mistakes. When they back up, the chin comes up in the air because they're not used to doing it. I used to do it when I backed up. Parilla was like, Mike, every time you go back, the chin comes up in the air. It does you. Instead of coming back like this, you're coming back like that and you're trying to keep them away, trying to keep them at bay. So if Oliveira walks him down, puts him on the back foot, gets him up against the fence, and uses those knees in the clinch and the elbows that he has, I think this is a closer fight. I'm going to say Charles Oliveira. Charlie fucking Olives. Let's go.
Top 10 UFC lightweight and his most recent loss came from Michael Chandler. Dan Hooker gives his prediction for the main event.
I kind of feel like that's like a good stylistic matchup for Chandler. Like he's a strong defensive wrestler. He does have good jiu-jitsu. Like early on in his career, most of his finishes were submissions. So he is, for a wrestler, has some pretty sound and pretty strong jiu-jitsu, like heavy puncher, low stance, low to the ground. So it is like stylistically a leaning towards Michael in a difficult matchup, but stylistically I was a terrible matchup and I got knocked down in the first round. So it's hard to, you can't really take that to the bank.
UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski gives his prediction.
I think I'm going to give it to Chandler. I think Chandler's they're both great fighters. Charles is a great fighter, but I think just the explosiveness and obviously that wrestling background and all that. I don't think the jiu-jitsu will be an issue. So I think Chandler will get it done.
Bellator lightweight and featherweight champion Patricio Pitbull, who also was the last person to beat Michael Chandler, gives his thoughts on the main event.
Tô na torcida pro brasileiro, meu patriota, meu compatriota, mas eu sei do poder de Michael Chandler, a história que ele fez aqui no Bellator. Eu ter batido nele não diminui nada, pelo contrário, ele perdeu o melhor lutador da terra, então isso é um grande feito para ele, ter perdido para mim. Sei que tem a rivalidade, mas eu tenho que ser realista. Eu acho que ele vence o título, torço pelo brasileiro, eu acho que ele vence o título e ele é meu representante número 1 dentro do UFC.
I believe I'm a Brazilian patriot. I know I'm a Brazilian patriot and I'm cheering for our fellow Brazilian and Charles Oliveira, but I know the power of Michael Chandler. I know he's he's the second wing-in-this fighter to ever come out of Bellator, and he's representing Bellator well on this next stage. Everybody really does think that he's probably going to be the next champion, and that's going to show just the power of Patricio Pitbull. He finished him in under a minute, and that was his last loss before heading over to the UFC. And it goes hand in hand with what we've been saying, which is we don't care what promotion you're in. Patricio Pitbull is pound for pound.
Top 10 UFC lightweight Beneil Dariush gives his thoughts on the main event.
I want to say I'm leaning toward Chandler, but I'm not actually, because I know he has more power and he's a hard puncher, and Oliveira kind of breaks. He's broken down a lot in his fights, but I feel like he's showing a new level. Oliveira, I think his mental game's gotten better. I think his ability to go 5 rounds has improved, or at least 3 rounds with when I watched him with Kevin Lee. So I'm leaning a little bit more towards Oliveira lately, but Chandler's power is real, so he could find a finishing. He could end up finishing the fight early, but I think it's gonna end up being Charles. Charles is gonna wear him down, kicks, flying knees, and possibly a takedown from Charles. That'll be a game changer. Nah, they're both. Yeah, I think Charles is more of a finisher. For Charles to win, I think it has to be a finish, and I think for Chandler to win, it could be a decision.
Former UFC welterweight and pro boxer Ben Askren gives his thoughts on the main event.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really good one because, I didn't think Oliveira was, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good. And then when he killed Tony Ferguson, that was like an eye-opener for me. Man, it's a tough one. Actually, I feel like Michael has an advantage on his feet, and I feel like he has an advantage with the wrestling where he will be able to keep it in the standing position.
Top 5 UFC welterweight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson gives his pick for the main event on his What's Up Everybody podcast.
I'm going for Chandler. That dude is a specimen. Just shredded, constantly working out. I think he stays in shape. I don't think he ever stops working out.
Muscle hamster.
I don't think he ever stops throwing the medicine ball.
Yeah.
Just constantly. That's his workout. That's what he does in camp.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't spar, just medicine ball
tosses and backflips.
I don't know. His last performance was just crazy. Nobody expected. Yeah,
hooker in the first round immediately, just like that.
The only thing that I think he's got good jiu-jitsu. His opponent does, and you see wrestlers all the time wrestle themselves into submissions, and he's got the reach he's got to deal with as well. But he closes the gap very fast, and
he's explosive.
Yeah, he's very explosive. So I'm going for Chandler, man, and he's fired up. I think it's going to be.
You think it's going to turn into a striking battle?
Yeah, 100%. Both grapplers, you see that a lot too. You got two, either wrestler, grappler, wrestler. They cancel each other out, and they like just don't even want to wrestle you because I know you got wrestling. Let's just bang it out. Let's see who's got the best striking. You saw that with Usman and Colby.
Yeah.
So that could definitely, I can see that. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that going that way.
Top 10 UFC featherweight Shane Burgos, who is also fighting on the same card, gives his prediction for the main event.
It's another one of those matchups, like just a cliche, like I said about myself. You run this fight 100 times, it's not going to be boring, not one time. Oliveira's got 27 finishes. Chandler's got 15 finishes. You see the way they both fight; they're always looking for the finish. I'm super pumped for this fight, but I'm definitely going with my boy Chandler on this one.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. I don't know if you ever had him on the podcast, but I feel like you definitely should. That dude's mindset he's one of my favorite athletes, but not just because of his physical attributes, but the way he thinks and the way he talks, man. Every time this dude talks, I'm like, I get sucked in. I'm just like, what? He should be like a motivational speaker or something, I swear.
UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling gives his main event prediction on his Weekly Scraps podcast.
I do lean towards Chandler in this one, just because of the powerhouse. And like Chandler said, he kind of alludes to like, when I hit him, he's gonna question like, just challenging for the world title was enough. And kind of saying like he's gonna make him quit and kind of bring back those old performances that we've seen from Charles Oliveira in the past. So I can see Chandler trying to go out there and just put the pressure on him right away. But Do Bronx does a great job of putting the pressure back on you. He has a great high tight defense where he's in that shell and he's coming back forward and he's laying those knees and stepping in. And he's got beautiful kicks, beautiful jiu-jitsu. And we've all seen the body lock takedowns that he has because he's so tall and lanky for the weight class. If he gets his hands locked, he does a great job of stepping behind and tripping you, dragging you down, pinching his elbows in tight and drag you to the mat. Or he'll just pick you up and straight up big dog you and earth you to the ground and say, get on here, son. So that's what I love about the style and the pressure of Charles Oliveira, because he can hurt you as much as you can hurt him. And like I said, he does a great job of keeping the poker face, keeping his hands up. Of late, 8 fights in a row, it speaks for itself. You know, I think the last one he lost was to Paul Felder when he was dominating the first round and he just got tired. So hopefully he doesn't get tired, because I want to see a classic fight. I wouldn't be surprised if this one doesn't go past 2.5 rounds.
Top 10 UFC lightweight Islam Makhachev gives his prediction. He tweeted this: Oliveira by submission. That about wraps up the video for today. Leave a like if you made it this far and enjoyed the video. But anyways, enjoy the fights tonight and have a great day. Peace.